Hello there and welcome to this American Civil War Epic Battle Report. This is a very special one for me as the channel is now 12 months old, 1 year in. So I filmed this report to celebrate that 1 year, and also the fact that the first battle report on my channel was an epic American Civil War Epic Battle Report. I think I had 8 regiments at the time painted up, so as you can see I've come a long way, and if you followed my progress on the channel in terms of the various battle reports and terrain building and hobby updates, this is pretty much an accumulation of all that. To be fair, there's still some models not on the table, but yeah, this is going to be quite an epic one in more ways than one. And also, as you can see, we've got some riverboat action. So got these from Sarissa and got these painted up. So I thought, yep, we're going to get some riverboat, gunboat action. And also, as you can see here, there's a fort as well. So got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, so strap yourselves in. Just wanted to thank everybody for all the support, kind messages that I get over the last 12 months. It's been brilliant, to be honest, and it's really helped to motivate me to keep going. So yes, this one's for everybody who's done that. So I'll go over to the scenario and the forces next, and then we'll get on with it. Okay, so the scenario today is based around one of the scenarios that's in the Glory Hallelujah supplement that you get for this period from Warlord Games. It's called the Attack on Fort Wright. So it's a fictional battle. It's not historical in that respect. So it's a generic kind of Western theatre battle off one of the many rivers that was in that kind of Western Tennessee River, all around those areas. It's also from in terms of the forces themselves, it's 1862. So in Glory Hallelujah, there's various periods and the different impacts that had on the various units. So these are all taken from that 1862 force selector. So the premise of this is that Fort Wright is protecting Kelly's Landing, which is this area here, and this is a key strategic point for supplies for the Confederates in this Western theatre. So they've built Fort Wright, which is an earthen fort. Many of these forts were of various sizes, shapes, materials. This is one of the earthen type forts that were built all around the American Civil War. It's garrisoned by a local militia, 2 regiments of local militia. It's not the best, and also 2 batteries of siege artillery. One battery is covering the dead ground outside Fort Wright, and the other battery is covering the river frontage. Okay, so the local general, commander, Brigadier General Henry Allen, he's been informed that there's a large Union force on the way to try and capture Fort Wright and Kelly's Landing. So he sent a division, he's brought his division along to bolster the local forces. So we've got on this high ground over here, we've got Colonel Brooke with his 2nd Brigade, and that's basically 3 regiments there and some artillery. And then on this hill here, this high ground, we've got Colonel Dempsey with the 1st Brigade, and they've built themselves some quick, basically some earthen defences to give themselves some more protection. And again, we've got 3 regiments there and a battery of artillery as well. And then Allen himself has positioned himself in the fort to support the local militia, and they've built a signal tower. So this signal tower has been built. So using the Commander-in-Chief rules, you get a free reroll every turn. So he'll be able to give either Dempsey or Brooke, his command reroll by using this signal tower. So I thought that was quite a neat way of using that. It's a bit something I bought recently. So, so rather than him having to attach himself to a brigade, he can pass that on through the signal tower. So that's the Confederate forces. I'll quickly go over to the Union force now. So in terms of the Union forces, the Union have sent a corps level army along to try and capture Fort Wright. It's only a small corps. It's got 2 divisions. Under Commander-in-Chief Major General Jacob Cox, who's down here. And the first time I'm using divisional generals as well. So we've got the 1st Division's under Brigadier General Gorman. And the way that will work is, by the way, the way I do my stands is, so brigade commanders have on 25mm bases, divisional on 40mm, so that's Gorman down there, and Commander-in-Chiefs are on 60mm bases, just to give you an idea of who's who. The way the divisional general rules work, these are optional rules in the Glory Hallelujah supplement. Basically, you can, and in the main rule book as well, but basically they can order units and regiments in their own division who haven't already received an order. So just another way of adding a bit of flavour to the game. So basically, the first division's got first brigade on the right here, which is 4 regiments. Also got the core artillery, so we've got some siege mortars. So very excited to be using these. They'll be lobbing their shells across into Fort Wright. So again, these are new models that I've got recently. We've also got 2 batteries of artillery that are currently unlimbered, and then you've got 4 regiments here in that first brigade. Second brigade's at the front here. Which is again 4 regiments, and 3 regiments at the back, which are the 3rd Brigade. And then on the left flank we've got the 2nd Division under Brigadier General Morton. Again, he's command rating 8, and he's got another 1st Brigade of 4 units, 4 regiments, and another brigade of 4 regiments, and also some limbered artillery at the moment. The units that look like they're in skirmish order, these are actually light infantry. There's 2 of those on the table, so they'll be getting the sharpshooter reroll for shooting. So that's quite exciting. So that's the Union force. But also, last but by no means least, we've got 2 gunboats. So really excited about having these on the battle report today. Not used these before. There are rules for these in Glory Hallelujah in the supplement. I've used those and just tweaked them a little bit for the scenario. We'll see how they go. It might take me a bit of time to work out the best way of using them. But I'll go through that as the game goes on. But you've got USS Yardley here, which is a monitor class gunboat. And then you've got USS Garrow, which is an armoured gunboat here. And they'll be battling off against the shore batteries here from Fort Wright. Okay, so finally, before we get into the game, I'll just quickly run through the various terrain elements, and then we can crack on with the game. Okay, so just a quick one on victory conditions. Very straightforward, usual black powder rules. One side's got to break the other. So if the Union can break the Confederates, obviously they'll leave the field and they can capture Fort Wright. And the Confederates have got to break the Union. Now, there was 2 slight variances to that. If at the end of the game it's kind of neither side is broken, but the Union have captured Fort Wright, it'll be a minor victory for the Union. And if the Confederates can hold Fort Wright, and again both sides aren't broken, then that will be a minor victory for the Confederates. Because I want to probably run this between 6 to 8 turns, depending on how it goes, how I feel. Maybe max 8 turns, but obviously it could end sooner. Okay, so let's get over to the first turn, which is going to be for the Union. Okay, so it's end of movement on turn 1 for the Union. So just to clarify ranges, so I have reduced ranges by half for this epic scale. So it's still inches, but half ranges from what's in the main rules. The gunboats have a 6-inch move, so they've got command ratings of 8, and they operate kind of independently. So there's no brigade commander, they've just got a command rating of 8. So the Garrow, the Yardley move 1. Now also the Yardley, the monitor class has got these rotating turret, which are very unique and innovative at the time. So it can shoot from any angle basically, whereas the Garrow is a standard gunboat, so it's just got broadsides, and that moved down 2 moves down to here. So that was the end of their movement, ready to start pounding on the... they're armed with siege artillery as well, so they've got a range of 30 inches, so half range, medium range is 15. In terms of over this side, so in terms of Gorman's division, so the 1st Brigade just shuffled up a little bit, so the artillery at the front did a manhandled move, and then the infantry just moved up behind just to give a bit of support. I think basically trying to get a bit of firepower into Fort Wright from the artillery and from the siege mortars and the gunboats, to try and soften it up before assaulting. Assaulting is very, very hard in epic battles, in black powder generally, and was pretty savage in the Civil War as well, so they're going to be just softening it up first. And in terms of the 2nd Brigade, just made a move forward, and then Gorman here tried to order his 3rd Brigade, because his commander here was only command rating 7. He's command rating 8, but failed anyway. So there you go. And in terms of the 2nd Division, which is under Morton, the brigade on the left here moved up 2 moves. That was quite good. Towards the cornfield here. So cornfields, so the rules for cornfields are basically you get, if you're in the cornfield, you're not a clear target, and also you can claim cover if you're within 1 inch of the fencing here. So they just stopped short of the fence there. But this brigade here got stuck, although Morton didn't, he's command rating 8 anyway, so, and he's 8, so, but they're stuck. They'd failed their command role. So got a bit of shooting to do, so we'll come back for that next. Well, we might as well kick off with the gunboats. So we'll start off with the Yardley. So it's within medium range. It's going to get 2 shots with its siege artillery. Now, because it's shooting at the fort, the artillery are not clear targets, so it's going to be 5s to hit. And also, they do get a +2 morale save modifier, which is cancelled out with medium range, so they're still saving on 4s, but quite handy to be behind those barricades. So, the Yardie needs 2 dice with needing 5s. There we go, so we've got our first disorder and a hit, so that's 1 hit and a disorder onto that shore battery. So it's just basically these 2 guns is 1 battery, and it'll be a save of 4+, which they don't make, so that's a casualty. So it's a good start for the Union gunboats. So we've got the Garrow next, which is not in close range, and also reading the rules anyway, gunboats don't get close range shots because of effectively the revers were normally lower to the embankments, but anyway, whatever. So still getting 2 shots, it's in medium range, and again going to hit on 5s. No, nothing for the Garrow. Okay, so that's the first hits land on Fort Wright. Okay, so we're going to move over to the artillery here. Right, so I've got 2 batteries of artillery. They are smoothbore guns, so they get a 24 inch range. They're actually now they've moved forward, they're within 12 inches, so they're in medium range. They're both getting 2 dice. And again, these aren't clear targets. They're going to shoot at this artillery battery here. So we're going to be hitting on 5s. So we'll do the first one here. Nothing there. And then we'll do the second battery here. Nothing there either. Okay, so that is pretty poor shooting from the Union gunners there. So we'll head over to the siege mortars. So I'll just come back for that. Okay, so how the siege mortars are going to work, they get 2 shots at any range, which is good. Still firing into the fort, so then they're kind of randomly firing, imagine just lobbing shells over into Fort Wright. So what I'm going to do is randomise, first going to roll to hit, and again, nothing's a clear target, so they're going to be hitting on 5s anyway. But then I'm going to randomise where it lands, because we've basically got 4 units in here. We've got 2 artillery batteries and 2 infantry regiments, so I'll be randomising where it goes, but also potentially it could hit the signal tower. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So let's see if we can hit first. There's 2 dice hitting on 5s. I'll keep it in the tray. That's 1 hit and a disorder. Okay, so one of these units is going to be hit and disordered. So now we're going to randomise where it rolls. So on a 1 to 3, it's infantry, and 4 to 6, it's the artillery. By the way, if I roll 2 6s in a row, it's going to be the I can choose for the signal tower. Anyway, 1 to 3 infantry, 4. So it's one of the artillery batteries, and then in 1 to 3, it's going to be this kind of southern wall. And 4 to 6, it's going to be the river battery. So it's this south wall here, so they've been hit. They're also now disordered. And they're going to have to take a test a morale save as well. And again, so it's -2 for being, they're like howitzers basically, so you get a -2 whatever. But because they're in the fort, it's going to be +2 for their morale save. So basically, we're back to 4s. Which they don't make, so that's another casualty on the artillery. So this front battery now has a casualty as well. Okay, so yes, a bit of damage going through onto onto Fort Wright there. There's no shooting from infantry, so that's the end of turn 1 for the Union, so over to Confederates. Okay, so clearly the Confederates are in defensive positions anyway, so not much movement other than Brooke here just basically managed to roll and just shuffle his units around. They were kind of facing this direction, so just repositioned him now to look at to try and check off this advance here by the Union on his flank, and he's got his 3rd regiment here kind of supporting both regiments there. Nothing happening on the centre here for Dempsey, and then obviously the defenders of Fort Wright get ready to shoot back against the Union advance. Okay, so we'll head over to shooting. Okay, so the shore battery here can choose either target. They're both within the arcs of fire of the batteries, and they're both within medium range as well. So they're going to target the ironclad here. So again, they're siege artillery, so it's 2 dice. Now, because they're disordered, they would normally be. Now they're normally hitting on 4s because these aren't protected anyway by screening. So normally hitting on 4s, so they're going to be hitting on 5s instead. So we'll roll that. So no hits, so the gunboats escape. So we'll head over to, I don't think there's anything else actually, because I'm just looking, oh yes, we've got this battery here, haven't we? So this battery will try and fire back here. Okay, so this siege artillery here is going to fire at this artillery battery here. Now, they're within medium range, it's going to be 2 dice. They are deployed, which means there aren't a clear target, so that means they're going to be hitting on 5s as well. So it's 2 shots hitting on 5s. There's no hits there either. Okay, so a bit of a lacklustre turn of shooting for the Confederates. There's nothing else in range, so we can remove these disorder markers now. And we'll head back over to turn 2 for the Union. Okay, so that's the end of movement on turn 2 for the Union. Not a lot happened. So the Garrow made just 1 move down, but unfortunately the Yardley failed its command roll, so there's got problems with its engines or something, so it's stuck there. So that's now obscuring the shots from the Yardley, which is a bit of a shame, but still got something from the Garrow. Over in the centre, this right flank here, yeah, really poor rolling from the Union over here, so no movement at all. So Major General Cox has swung around now to support this second brigade here to try and provide the command reroll for next term, because he was over here for the first term, so he's just come across. And then over here again, this commander here, just brigade commander, tried to get the artillery to move up to the edge of this woods and on limber to get some shots up there, but failed his command roll for the whole, so that's scuppered him there. However, Morton here did manage to order his first brigade here to make a move up. So a little bit of movement, but not a great deal of movement on this turn for the Union. So we're back to do some shooting over here. So Garrow's going to open up. So again, it's within medium range, so 2 shots hitting on 5s. Whoops. Keep it in the tray. No hits there. Okay, so we'll come across to the artillery. Okay, so same as the last turn, this artillery is going to fire, and this one is at the artillery, so we'll do that separately. So first one, again, hitting on 5s, 2 shots. That's 1 hit and a disorder. That's a good start. So we'll just put that there. And then again, they've got a save, so a save of 4, which they do make, so no casualties. And then the second battery will open up, again 5s, again another hit, and then 4s, which they make. So bit of disorder, but the Fort Wright is keeping them safe and sound for the moment. So then we'll just come back for the siege mortars. Okay, so let's see if these siege mortars can hit again. So again, 2 dice, and again hitting on 5s. That is a hit, so let's see where it goes. So 1 to 3 is infantry. So it's 6, so it's one of the artillery batteries, and then 1 to 3 is this one, 4 to 6 those guys. So it's going to be the river battery, so they need to make a save of 4+, which they don't make, so that is another casualty. So actually that shore battery now has been shaken by the incoming rounds from the siege mortars. Interesting. Okay, so I think that's the end of shooting, so that's over to turn 2 for the Confederates. Again, no movement for the Confederates in that turn. Just trying to see if this artillery battery could shoot, but this is a light woods, so there was a 6-inch visibility distance, so they're just over 6 inches away of the front of the forest, so they can't actually see them right now. And also the same is for the cornfield, you have a 6-inch visibility point, so again, can't shoot down there. So basically we're over back to Fort Wright to see what they can do in returning fire to all this artillery. Okay, so starting with this shaken shore battery, say that when you've had a few drinks. So because they're shaken, then it's going to be -1 to hit modifier, so they're going to be shooting at the Garrow, again 2 dice, but hitting on 5s this time. That is a hit and a disorder. That's good, so pop a disorder on there. They've got a morale save of 4, so because they've been shot at by artillery at medium range, it's going to be -2 to their morale save, so they're going to need a 6 to save this one, which doesn't make, so that is a casualty on the Garrow. Okay, so the Confederates strike back, so to speak. So we'll whiz around now for this front battery. Okay, so again they're going to be targeting this battery here, but because they are now disordered, that's an extra -1, so it's going to be a 6s to hit, which they don't make. Okay, so that is the end of the shooting on Confederate turn. So again, I'll just remove this disorder marker, and we'll head over to turn 3 for the Union. Okay, so then the turn 3 movement for the Union, not too bad. So obviously the Yardley here, so the Garrow here was disordered, so it's got a problem with its engine, so it was just stuck there. But fortunately the Yardley was able to make a move around to get guns to bear for this phase. Over this side, in terms of Gorman's division, the 2nd Brigade managed to get a fantastic move up towards Dempsey here on the high ground with his regiments there, and the 3rd Brigade managed to just shuffle forward 1 move. So Cox has come over to support Gorman for the next next round, because realistically you need to get those further up in support of that 2nd Brigade. And then on the left flank here, the commander here managed to get his guns up and limbered with 1 move. So if you're within 1 inch of the edge of the forest, you can shoot out. So that's fine. But then he failed his next order to move his troops. So Morton stepped in and picked up this whole brigade, and they moved up into the cornfield. This front regiment now is just beyond 6 inches, so this could be targeted by the artillery. So not bad for the Union. So over to shooting. Right, so starting off with the Garrow here. So it is disordered, so it's going to be hitting on 6s. So it's 2 dice, in on 6. Nothing there. And then the Yardley will be shooting on 5s, 2 dice. That is 2 hits and a disorder, so that battery is now disordered. And it's going to make 2 saves of 4, or it will be testing. Notice that is 1 casualty, so they are 1 in excess of their stamina. So they will be testing, so I'll come back at the end of that. We'll come over to this artillery next. Okay, but rinse and repeat here, still trying to soften up the defences. So this time this one here is going to fire again at the artillery, and these will as well. So I'll do that one first, again hitting on 5s. Nothing there, and this one as well. Nothing. Okay, so we'll have to go for the siege mortars again. So again 2 dice, hitting on 5s. Just the 1 hit, so let's roll again. So 1 to 3 is infantry. That is infantry this time. So it's 1 to 3, it's the south wall, and 4 to 6, it's this, that's going to be like a westerly wall. So it is this south wall, so they're going to take it's a -2, so again they'll be saving on a 4, which they don't make, so that is actually a casualty on the infantry. Now that's interesting, this is what the Union want, they want to start weakening the defenders, so there's a casualty on that unit there. The unit is basically here, defending the wall, and that unit is defending that wall. Okay, so just come across for any more shooting. Okay, so this battery can fire because it only moved once. So in American Civil War, you can only fire if you've moved once, or no more than once. So they're going to shoot up. And I'm going to target this infantry actually, because the artillery are deployed, so they're harder to hit. And I think at this stage, again, I want to try and inflict the casualties as easy as possible. So they are within medium range, so they're getting 2 dice, and they're hitting on a 4. They get 1 hit, and at medium range that's -2 to the morale save, so that is going to be a 6 required from that infantry, which they do make. Okay, so there we go, perhaps the hill protected them there. Okay, so that's the end of the shooting, and there's anything else for the Union to do, so that's the end of turn 3, so over to Confederate turn 3. Apologies, before we move on, I forgot this Shore battery needs to take a break test because it had excess casualties in the shooting phase. So in terms of working this out, we've got 1 excess casualty, so that's -1 to its roll. It's disordered, that's -2, and it also suffered casualties from artillery, so that's -3. So this could be bad for the artillery because artillery will break on a roll of 6 or less. Let's see how we get on. They're okay. There we go, 7. So they're fine, they do hold their ground. Okay, so I'll just remove that casualty marker. And also this disorder off this Union vessel as well. Okay, so over to turn 3 now for the Confederates. Okay, so there's no movement again for the Confederates, so we're just going to head straight over to shooting. It's a bit more this turn, hopefully. So again, the Shore battery is just disordered and shaken. We'll be shooting at the Garrow. So that's going to be -1 for being disordered and shaken. It doesn't stack, so it's still going to be 5s. So hitting on 2 dice, hitting on 5s. So did they get that hit? And it's going to be a 6 to save. Oh, it's cocked. It's cocked. No. So the Garrow actually is now shaken because they only have a stamina of 2, I think. I'll just double check that, but I think it is. Okay, so we'll come over to this battery here. No, they do actually have a stamina of 3, so it's just a 2, so it's not shaken yet. Okay, so this front battery here, we're going to fire at this artillery here. So again, they are not a clear target, so 2 dice hitting on 5s. There it is, 1 hit and a disorder. So just put that on there, and then they're going to make a save of 6 because they're in medium range, which they don't make, so that's also 1 casualty. Okay, so some success for the Confederates there. And then we'll come across to Dempsey's brigade. Okay, so first bit of shooting for Dempsey in the centre here. So we've got a few things going on. So we've got the 2 infantry regiments. They're both armed with rifled muskets. These guys are just in support. Because of the way they're positioned, they're only going to be able to get 2 shots from their positions. Now they are in range, 12 inches, so that's fine. And then we've got the battery here, which again, they're in half range, so it's going to get 2 shots. So going to start on with this unit here. They're going to be shooting down at this front regiment here. So this is going to be hitting on 2 dice, hitting on 4s. Nothing there. And then this regiment here will shoot down at this light infantry. So again, hitting on 4s. That is 1 hit, and it needs a save of 4. No, so that is a casualty on that regiment there. And then so the artillery will finish off, so they'll fire down at these, was a fire at the light infantry. Now they've been injured, so 2 dice hitting on 4s. That is 1 hit, and because we're at medium range, it's a save of 6, which they don't make. Now, the way the scenario is in the book, these are from the, I'd say, the 1862 force pack, and actually the Union had stamina of 2 on its units. So that is actually now shaken, that unit there. So that is not a good position for the Union straight away. So good bit of shooting from Dempsey. Already shook up a 1 regiment there. So we'll just come over to the right flank for Brooke. Okay, so Brooke's brigade, they're actually armed with smoothbore muskets. So they haven't got the range yet for the muskets, but this artillery is in range. They will be shooting at not a clear target again, so there's going to be 2 dice hitting on 5s in medium range. No, nothing there. Okay, so that's the end of the shooting for turn 3 and turn 3. So yeah, so a little bit of action starting in the centre here, and Fort Wright still holding on, although casualties mounting for the defenders down there. Okay, so moving over to turn 4 for the Union. Okay, so it's end of movement on turn 4 for the Union. So down here, the Yardley failed its role, so again, some engine problems there. The Garrow managed to get 3 moves, so it moved down and used a move to turn around and 1 move to come back again. So again, it's presenting its broadside on this side. So that's there. Again, this 1st Brigade here just holding position. Again, doesn't feel that Fort Wright's just quite right yet for an assault. The centre, bit of a nightmare here for Gorman. This brigade just holding steady. He did try and rally off a casualty, but failed his order, so they're stuck anyway. And then, well, I must move the general actually. I haven't moved him yet. And then the 3rd Brigade tried to move up, used the commander reroll, and blundered. So nightmare. So failed his order first, blundered, and they just did a little shuffle to the left. This brigade doesn't know what it's doing at the moment. More success on the left flank here. So with the help of Morton, this 1st Brigade came right through the cornfield up, and is in a position now to challenge the Confederates on the hill there. And then the 2nd Brigade commander managed to get 2 regiments up here as well. So a lot of so we've got 6 full regiments now coming through the cornfield towards Brooke's position. But he did fail his orders to move his other 2 regiments. They're still stuck where they are. But a lot of pressure now approaching this right flank of the Confederate line. Centre's still where it was. Ready for some shooting. Okay, back to the Garrow here, which is going to fire at the shore battery. So again, 2 shots hitting on 5s. Wow, that's good shooting. So 2 hits and a disorder. So that battery is no disorder. And they're going to make 2 saves of 4. It's going to be interesting. No, that is actually 2 casualties. So they're at 2 over their stamina limit because they are shaken already. So they will be testing at the end, but also we've still got the Yardley to shoot. So we'll do the Yardley next. So that is 2 shots again, hit on 5s. No hits in the Yardley though. So, but they'll be testing, so we'll do that when we come back. So we'll come over to this artillery here. So the 2 artillery batteries again are going to fire at the artillery here. So we'll start with the one that's not disordered. So again, 2 shots, 5s. Nothing there. And these will need 6s. No, nothing. Okay, so we have to rely on the siege mortars. So again, we're going to have 2 shots on 5s. There's the 1. So 1 to 3 is infantry, 4 to 6 is artillery. So it's the infantry again. 1 to 3 is the south wall, 4 to 6 is the west wall. So it's the west wall this time, and they're going to make a save of 4, which they do make anyway. Okay, so less effective this turn for the artillery, but at least they're testing. We might as well do that now actually, because I'm going to forget. So, so once again, it's going to be disorder, so -1 for their roll, -2 for being over the casualties, that's -3, plus it was artillery, so -4 to this roll. So remember, 6 or less, and they leave the field, they're destroyed. That's a 9. So it's a 9, oh no, that's wrong. So 9 -4 is 5, so yep, so they're gone. So the the Yardley and the Garrow have broken the shore batteries, who have now will now leave the field broken. Okay, so that's some good news. So Fort Wright is now a little bit wide open for some more shooting from the river. So we'll just move across the line now, see if there's any more shooting. So we've got these two regiments at the front here who've both got rifled muskets, can shoot up at the defenders on the hill on Dempsey's brigade. So so this regiment here is going to fire up. It's got 3 shots. They're not clear targets because of the earthworks. So we've got 3 shots. They'll be hitting on 5s. Blimey, that's what we're shooting. So 3 hits and a disorder. So I'll stick that on there. Now they are behind the barricade. That does give them a +1 save modifier, so they will be saving on 3s. No, 2 casualties as well. So that's pretty good shooting from the Union straight off the bat. I wasn't expecting that. So 2 casualties. I'll put it at the back here, and also disordered. So these have got a stamina of 3 actually, so they're not shaken yet. But that's a good start from the guys there. And over to the light infantry who are shaken. So there we'll be hitting on 6s, because also they'll be shooting up at those guys there. But they do get the sharpshooter, so they will be re-rolling one of these. So 6s, re-rolling 1. No, re-rolling one of these. No. Okay, so that's the end of the shooting there, and then we'll come across to this way. Okay, so last is Morton's division. Now, because all these regiments have moved more than once, they can't shoot. So it's just the artillery, again, up on the hill towards this Confederate regiment here. So, again, 2 shots hitting on 4s. That's the 1, and a disorder. So that's a good start. And then it's going to be a 6 to save because of being shot at medium range by artillery. And no, so that's the first casualty on the hill as well. So some pain coming across the Confederate lines. So that's the end of the shooting phase. So a little bit on Brooks' brigade here. A few casualties starting to appear on Dempsey's lines now, interestingly. And then down at Fort Garrow, as you can see now, the shore batteries have departed. You can imagine the artillery being all mangled and the crews limping off to seek medical help. So Fort Garrow's a bit open. Fort Wright's a bit open now, because these ships can now boats can start shooting into the fort itself. So we'll come back for turn 4 for the Confederates. Okay, so again, no movement from the Confederates. So just show you the view from their positions. So up on Brooks' high ground here, you can see the menace of the massive Union regiments approaching. So the inevitable hand-to-hand, I don't think it's that far away. In the centre, Dempsey couldn't do much about his casualties because they're disordered, so he couldn't rally off any casualties from there. But again, still in a good position, and no real threat just yet from the Union. And then obviously the Fort Wright, just preparing for whatever comes from the Union assault. Okay, so we're just going to move over for some shooting. Okay, so this artillery duel continues. So again, the siege artillery is going to fire up at this artillery battery that's got the casualty. So again, going to be hitting on 5s, 2 shots. That is a hit. So here we go. So they need a 6 to save, which they don't make. So they are now shaken as well. So that's good news for the Confederate defenders. So we'll come across to the centre. Okay, so once again, this regiment here is going to shoot down at this light infantry regiment. So 2 shots hitting on 4s. That's 1 hit, a save of 4 required. No, so they're going to be 1 over their stamina, which means they will be testing at the end of this. So the artillery might as well pour it in as well. So that's going to be 2 shots hitting on 4s. Wow, 2 6s. So they are disordered, and they're going to have 2 saves of 6 here. No, so they are 3 over their stamina, so they're going to be in trouble, I think, come the break test, but there you go. And then this disordered unit here is going to shoot down there, so they've got 2 shots hitting on 5s because they're disordered. No, and they miss. Okay, so some good shooting from Dempsey there. That unit's in trouble, and we'll come back to that after we've done the right flank. So Brooks' brigade, they're all armed with smoothbore muskets, which is a range of 9 inches. So this unit here can fire down here. Now, because of their position, they're only going to get 2 shooting dice, so it's going to be hitting on 4s. Put this over here, actually. That is 1 hit, and then 1 save of 4 required. No, so that is a casualty on that front regiment there. And then the artillery is going to fire down at just going to return counter battery fire here. So again, hitting on 5s. That's one hit and a disorder. So put that on that battery there. And one save of 6 required, because again in medium range, which they don't make, so that's also a casualty on that artillery, so that was worth doing. These are out of range because it's 9 inches, which is just about here. Okay, so that is the end of the shooting phase for the Confederates. Not too bad, getting some casualties, obviously but inevitably there's going to be some sort of charge here at some point. I'll just remove that disorder now. Dempsey, oh, we need to do this break test, don't we? So Dempsey's put that lot of hurt onto that regiment there, and then not much happening there. So let's do that break test now. So we've got, so -3 for the casualties, -4 for disordered, and also artillery, so -5. So this could be bad. Let's see what comes out. So 7 -5 is 2, so they are whipped now. So in American Civil War, there's a rule called whipped. So in normal black powder, they'll be broken, but in ACW, they'll be retreating, called whipped. I didn't do that for the artillery because they were doing the fort. I just felt they would just melt away. So I'll move them backwards. Basically, they'll become disordered and shaken for the rest of the game, and they'll be retreating away. But that's a blow for that centre brigade there. So 1 regiment down. Okay, so we're over to turn 5 for the Union. Okay, so that's the end of a fairly active turn of movement for the Union. So starting off on the river, so the Garrow and the Yardley just manoeuvre themselves back into position to start pounding on the Fort Wright again. Now the shore batteries are gone, they'll be having similar rules to the siege mortars, so they'll be lobbing shells across over into Fort Wright randomly. Again, you've got to imagine that the river's probably lower than the bank in here, so perspective's slightly different. So yeah, they'll be using the same rules. Over here, the 1st Brigade, the commander there managed to rally off a casualty on the artillery, so still holding back with the infantry. Now we've got the shore batteries gone. Wants to try and get a bit more softening up with the troops in there before we get the assault going, because it's going to be very difficult to assault the fort. In the centre, finally, Gorman managed to get his brigade, the 3rd Brigade, up a bit towards his 2nd Brigade. But this 2nd Brigade got stuck again, so failed his order. So General Cox decided to come round and buddy up with him for the next turn, just to try and help out here, because at the moment they're just sitting there getting shot at. So we need to do something more positive. But the good news is on the left flank for the Union is that that Mawson managed to get a charge off with his 1 regiment charged in, 1 in support, and these Zouaves moved up as well. So in American Civil War, you do get a -2 penalty for charging to a formed regiment to the front, and that just represents that hand-to-hand combat was a little bit more hard going than it was in other wars. He rolled a 6, so he managed to get that unit in. They did take quite a bunch of closing fire though. They are shaken, and they did test for a break, because if you're shaken in charging, you have to test. But fortunately, they rolled a 7, so that's they rolled a 9, took off the 2 casualties, and they've managed to pass their break test. So that's good news. So the charge is worth doing, and also the Union commanders thinking, "We've got to get on with this now. We are in turn 5. Got to try and break these rebels." But on the left flank here, this 2nd Brigade just failed his order yet again. So again, they're a little bit stuck. So yeah, I need to get these guys moving, but no joy on this turn. Okay, so that's the end of the movement. So we'll head over to some shooting, and also we've got some hand-to-hand combat. So we're going to start off with the Garrow. That's going to be firing 2 shots into the fort. So again, we'll do, it's going to be 5s, because again, nothing's a clear target. So 2 shots hitting on 5s. That is 1 hit. That's good news. And now again, we randomise it. So it's 1 for the artillery. Well, sorry, it's 1, 2, 3 for artillery, and 4, 5, 6 for infantry. So it's the infantry, and again, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 for this front, or 4, 5, 6 for those guys. And it's the front who already got a casualty, so they'll be saving on a 4+. Let's see what goes on there, which they do. Okay, so then we've got the Yardley. That's only got 1 shot. It's just out of 15-inch range for the fort. So again, 1 shot hitting on 5. Oops, missed. No, that's a miss. Okay, so no effect from the boats. So we'll move over to the artillery. So we're going to keep concentrating the fire onto this artillery unit. So again, we're going to need 5s. So do that one first. That is 1 hit, and save of 4, which they do make. And then this one, no, it's not shaken. It's going to sit on 5s. Another hit, and another save of 4 required. which it makes. So yeah, this artillery fire is not making a huge difference. So we'll do now the siege mortars. So we give them 2 shots, hitting on 5s. There's 1 in a disorder, so we're going to get disordered here. So again, 1 to 3 is artillery, 4 to 6 is infantry. So it's infantry, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. So it's these guys again, so they are disordered. And they're going to take a casualty on a 4, need a 4 up, which they make. So no casualties, bit of disorder, so a bit disappointing there. Lots of firepower coming in. But again, the fort proving to be more than worthy of its name, really. So, okay, so we'll move across a bit for some firing over here. So this front infantry regiment can fire up at those who they injured last time. So hoping to get the same result, because that would be nice. So again, hitting on 5s because they're not a clear target. Nothing at all. Okay, that wasn't very good. And these are out of range there. So we're going across to the left. So this unit here is in range of the artillery. So obviously not a clear target again. So it's going to be 3 shots, this time hitting on a 5. Nothing there. Not very good here. And this artillery is going to try and shoot again. Actually, it's going to go for the artillery this time because it's disordered anyway. So it's going to need 6s. So we might as well make it. Yeah, go for the artillery. So it needs 6s. No, nothing there. So pretty poor round of shooting all round for the Union. So we're going to head over straight to this hand-to-hand combat. Okay, so this hand-to-hand combat. So the Union regiment has got 6 hand-to-hand dice, and so have the Confederates. The Union are supported to the rear. These are supported to their rear and their flank here. So yeah, slight advantage for the Confederates there. And also these are shaken. So they get the charge bonus of +1. It's -1 for being shaken. So these are hitting on 4s. These are hitting on 4s. So we'll do the Union first. So 6 dice hitting on 4s. That's not bad. That's 4 hits there. And then for the Union, same for them. And 4 hits as well, so pretty even so far. Let's see how we get on with the saves. So 4+ saves for the Union. They make 3 of them, so that's just the 1 casualty. So we'll see what the Confederates can do. Oh dear, so that's 3 casualties for the Union. Sorry, Confederates, apologies. Right, so let's see how that works then. So we've got, so the Union took a casualty, and the Confederate took 3 casualties. So they've got a 1 support to the rear there, so that puts that up to a 4 points for the Union. And their support to their rear and to their flank, so that puts them up to a score of 3. So, yeah, so the Union won. So I'll just apply the casualties. So 3 casualties for the Confederates there, so they will become shaken. So put that on there. And these will be 1 over the stamina, but because they've won the combat, that's fine. So just need to roll for the results. So just I'll come back for that. Okay, so this is the Confederate break test. So it's just 2 dice. There's no modifiers. So they just need to roll as high as they can. That looks good already. Yeah, 10, that's fine. So they're going to hold their ground, but the Union did win that combat. Okay, so that's the end of the turn 5 for the Union. Pretty good turn, I suppose, in some respects. It got some combat going over here. So a bit of pressure onto the Confederate right flank. Bit of lackluster shooting, but yeah, starting to make some moves. So let's see what turn 5 brings for the Confederates. So no real movement for the Confederates again. Obviously, Brooks engaged over here now, so just keeping his forces as tightly packed as he possibly can to support each other. In the centre, Dempsey, all he did was just rallied off a casualty on that unit there, so it's brought back to 1, so just doing his job as a commander, and then nothing going on at Fort Wright. So head straight over for some shooting, and obviously we've got some hand-to-hand combat as well. So the ongoing artillery duel continues, so this battery is going to fire up at this unit here that's already got the casualty. So hitting on 5s, nothing this turn. Okay, so we'll move across to Dempsey. Okay, so starting off with this unit here, it's going to fire down. They're just in range of these Zouaves because these have got rifle muskets, so they're getting 3 dice, hitting on 4s. Just the 1, but that is a disorder as well. Just put that onto them. And then 1 save of 4 required. which they do make. Now that this unit's gone here, the artillery has to fire at the closest unit, which is going to be this one. So he's going to fire down 2 dice, hitting it on 4s. 1 hit, and again it's going to be a 6 to save because of being at medium range. Note that is a casualty onto that front unit, and then see if these guys can shake them, because again these are all stamina 2. The Confederates, by the way, are stamina 3, so it's a slight difference in the statistics. So again, it's going to be 2 dice because of how they're configured, hitting on 4s. Just the 1 and needing the 4, otherwise they're going to be shaken as well. No, they do make it. Okay, so we'll just come over to the right. Over here now, this unit again is out of range for shooting because it's only got smoothbore muskets. So this artillery is now going to fire down at the unit here. Now, because although they've got the fence line there, it doesn't provide any protection against artillery. So it's going to be just 2 shots hitting on 4s. Just the 1, and again it's going to be a save of 6 for being in medium range. Oh, missed. No, so that's 1 casualty onto that unit there. So just put that onto there. Okay, I think that is all of the shooting across the line. It is, so we'll come back for the hand-to-hand combat here. Okay, so back to this combat here. So now it's the Confederates' turn. Now because they're shaken, they're going to be hitting on 5s because you get a -1 for being shaken. The Union are also shaken, but they did win the last combat, so they're getting a -1 + 1, so they're hitting on 4s still. So we'll do these 6 dice hitting on 5s. That's pretty good though, 3 hits. That's pretty good. And then the Union on 4s. 4 hits, so slight difference in the results there. Okay, so we'll do the Confederate saves, so again 4s up. 2, so 2 casualties. And Union got 3. 1 casualty. So that could be a draw actually, we'll just quickly work it out. So Union get 1 casualty, Confederates get 2 casualties. Confederates support to their rear and to their flanks, so they're going to get another 2 on top of their score. So that puts them up to a 3. And the Union got 1 support behind, so that brings them up to a 3 as well. So that is a draw. So because they're both shaken, they'll both be testing, so we'll come back for that. So starting off with the Confederates, they've got 2 casualties, so it'll be 2 dice and they're going to be taking -2 off this. So 7 becomes a 5, so that is a fail. So with the 5 they will make 1 move backwards and become disordered. So that's their result. And then for the Union, it's -1. So 6 becomes a 5. So blimey, it's the same results. So there we retreat him back as well. Okay, so I'll make those manoeuvres and I'll come back. So that's the outcome of the hand-to-hand combat. So this regiment's now moved back to here. It's shaken. Oh, I need to put some disorder markers on with their disordered as well. And then this Union regiment's come back there and is also disordered. So I'll put those markers on. But that's not good news for Brooke because that's opening up that flank there a little bit now. So can the Union exploit that in turn 6? We'll come back and see. Okay, so that's the end of what could be a very decisive turn, or a bit of movement for the Union. So again, the 2 gunboats have just manoeuvred themselves around. So they're both now within medium range. The big move came from this 1st Brigade. So the commander there, the colonel, managed to roll and get 3 moves for his regiment, so for his brigade. So the whole brigade made a move down to the front here, just outside of close range, but potentially lined up just right for an assault onto Fort Wright now. We're at that stage of the game. Centre was terrible. Despite Cox's re-roll, didn't manage to move, so they're all stuck where they were. So not a lot happening there. Dempsey just literally reading his paper on the hill up there. And over here, similar, on the left-hand side, once again, this brigade commander is going to get sacked at the end of this this video. But anyway, so no movement there. But again, Morton managed to get some good movement here. So these 2 moved up on initiative. So they didn't charge in because you can't charge on initiative, but they managed to crest up to the hill. So they've got nice, good firing lines now onto this unit here. And these Zouaves are also in initiative range. So they just moved up in support. And then he rolled and managed to get this other Zouaves regiment just to sweep right round onto the flanks here. So this 2nd division is really starting to envelop Brooke's position. So we'll see what happens in this turn. Okay, so we've got some shooting to do. Right, we'll start with the Yardley and the Garrow again. So it's going to be 2 shots on the Yardley. Again, we're going to see the hit first 5s. Nothing. And from the Garrow, they could really do with some good shooting in this turn. That's 1, so that's 1 of disorder. So this is where it goes. So 1 to 3 is the artillery. No, so it's going to be 1 in the infantry. So again, 1 to 3 at the front, 4 to 6 on the side. So it is the side again, so they are disordered again. And need to make a save of 4+, which they don't do this time. So they've also taken a casualty. Okay, so that was a better result for that shooting. So we'll come across the artillery. Okay, so this artillery now, because they're shooting over the heads of their comrades down there, they are getting a further -1. So these aren't going to be as effective now. They're going to be hitting on 6s, but give it a go. Again, they're both going to be targeting the artillery in the centre. So the first battery, no, and the second battery, no. And then we do the mortars. They don't care because they're firing over anyway. So they're hitting on 5s. 2 hits. Interesting. Right, okay, see where these go. So 1 to 3 it's the artillery. 4 to 6 it's the infantry. So it's both on the artillery. So 2 hits on the artillery. Okay, so that's going to be 4s to save. Let's see how we get on. This could be interesting. 1 casualty. So they are finally shaken. So after 6 rounds of shooting, we finally shook this artillery battery up. So that might be what the Union need. Anyway, we'll come across to the centre for some more shooting. So this regiment here is going to fire up again. So hitting on 5s, 3 shots. Nothing. If only it was 4s. Okay, so we'll come across this side. Okay, so this artillery battery here is going to fire up at the infantry. Now, if they can shake that unit, that's going to break this brigade, because we've got 1 shaken unit. That'd be more than half the units shaken. So this is a very interesting roll. So they need to get 2 hits. Hitting on 4s. They do make their 2 hits. So they need 2 6s, or this unit is shaken, and that will break Brooks' brigade. No, so that is that shakes them. So that puts them on 3 casualties. So they are shaken. So that brigade is now broken. So that's a breakthrough for the Union. We have got a bit more shooting to do, so we'll do that first to see what the total result was, but they are going to be going at the end of the turn. So starting with this Zouaves regiment here. Now these are armed with smoothbore muskets. There's a rule called pour it on boys, where basically at close range, because basically smoothbore muskets were supposedly quicker to load, you get an extra shooting dice at close range or from closing fire. So they are in close range. They're also going to get enfilading fire because they're shooting down the column. So they're getting, getting 4 dice, hitting on 3s because they're in close range, re-rolling 1 of these. That is pathetic. Okay, so no hits whatsoever. Oh, they're rubbish. Okay, 1 re-roll, who knows? No, can't even make the re-roll. That was the most pathetic shooting I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so we'll just move over to this regiment here. Okay, so these will also get, they're shooting at this regiment here. They could ignore them because they're not a clear target. And they're also enfilading as well. It's a bit tight, but I'll give it to them. They've got rifle muskets, so it's just a 3 dice hitting on 3s. That's better. Look at that. 3 hits and a disorder. 3 saves of 4 required. No, so they are shaken as well. So actually, wow, that's, yeah, definitely broken now. So that brigade is definitely gone. They're all shaken. So despite the lacklustre firing here, which didn't really matter anyway, they are shaken. Okay, so that is the end of turn 6 for the Union. So this right flank of the Confederates has just broken. So that's a major breakthrough for the Union, because this means now basically this whole division can start to sweep across the board towards Dempsey's position. So who knows? Obviously a bit of confusion down in the centre here, despite having Cox in the middle of all the action. And this 1st Brigade is kind of geared up to maybe make a charge next turn. So we're poised here, guys. We're poised to see where this battle's going to go. Okay, so we're going to move over to turn 6 for the Confederates. So this is how the Confederates are looking on start of turn 6. As you can see, the Brooks Brigade has now left the field. So the whole right flank's evaporated. So Dempsey's just holding on to this centre ground now because he's in a good defensive position. It's going to take a lot to dislodge him from there. And whilst his brigade is intact, then there's still a chance of the Confederates doing something in this battle. And then the defenders of Fort Wright are just getting ready for to get some fire out onto the Union coming up. So we'll head straight over to there and we'll start with some shooting. So this shaken battery here will fire directly at this front unit here. So they're just getting -1 for the shaken. So it's two. They are outside of close range. So it's still just 2 dice hitting on 5s. So that's a good start. So that's a hit and a disorder. And those Union guys are going to need a 6 to save because -2 for medium artillery. No, so that is also a casualty. And once again, these have only got 2 stamina. So that's 1 off being shaken. And then we've got the front unit here of militia. Now, the way they're positioned, they're going to get 2 dice as well. So, again, they're going to shoot down at this unit. So, hitting on 4s, though. So, again, 1 hit and a save of 4 required, which they do make. Okay. By the way, this unit here, these are just over range because these are sorry, out of range. These are smoothbore muskets, so 9 inches is just past that tree there. So, okay, so we'll head over to Dempsey's brigade. So this unit will open up on this unit again. So 2 dice hitting on 4s. That's 1 hit, save of 4 required. No, so they are shaken. So that's a good start for Dempsey. And then we've got the artillery. Again, we'll shoot down at them as well. So again, 2 dice hitting on 4s. No, nothing. And this unit will fire down at the Zouaves. 2 dice hitting on 4s. Just 1 hit and save of 4 notes. That's a casualty on the Zouaves as well. So this 2nd Brigade of the Union is taking a bit of a battering at the moment. A bit of cannon fodder. And that's it. That's the end of the Confederate turn. There's no hand-to-hand combat. So yes, so that was a quick one. So we're going to head over to turn 7. We're into the last couple of turns of the game now. It's getting dark on the battlefield. So the Union haven't got long now to try and secure a victory here. So let's see how we get on in turn 7. So that's the end of turn 7 movement for the Union. Busy turn of movement. We'll start down here. So this brigade's been waiting patiently in the wings as the fort gets pummeled with various bits of artillery. And so although this unit here was disordered, the unit behind was ordered to charge in. And he rolled a 5, so that was more than enough to get them through. And also he ordered these 2 units up into support in the same order. They had to make a passage of lines check because of being close to the enemy, which they also passed. There's an American Civil War rule of units going through units. If you're within 12 of the enemy unit, you've got to have this passage of lines check, which they passed. So all's going really well. What I haven't done, I haven't rolled for closing fire. I thought because it's such a significant part of the battle, I should do that live. So I've got to come back and do that. But I'll just quickly go through all the other movement. A bit of movement on the boats, but now these are potentially engaged. They might not be able to shoot, and the Yardley failed its order anyway, so it's now blocked by the Garrow. Obviously no movement here. In the centre, basically, as you can see, just some sweeping around now this 3rd Brigade through Gorman, just trying to sweep around towards the other side of the fort. And over here, this brigade commander thought he was going to leave his troops now. They've had enough now. They can't do much anymore from this position. So he's just grabbed his artillery and limbered them up, and he's racing down the road towards Dempsey to try and support the attack in the centre here. So just leaving his brigade, but just grabbing his artillery and running down the road. And then on this brigade here, so a bit of movement off the hill here for the brigade here. So they're just swinging round to try and flank onto Dempsey's flank here. So just trying to remember all the names, all the various commanders. So lots of movement going on, lots of things going on. It's very late in the day now. The sun is setting. The Union realise it's going to be dark soon. They need to snatch victory as quickly as possible. So I'm going to whiz over there and we're going to come and do this closing fire. So to quote the Aliens film, I've got a bad feeling about this. These have, again, have only got 2 stamina, so they're facing closing fire from the artillery and from those from the militia. Yeah, so we'll see how we get on. So the way this will work, they get the artillery will get 3 dice on closing fire. So they're normally hitting on 4s, but because they're at close range now, they're hitting on 3s. But because they're shaken, that goes back to 4s. So it'll be 3 dice hitting on 4s. This could be bad. Not as bad as I thought. So there's 1 hit and a disorder, and 1 save of 6 required, which they don't make. So they are disordered, which isn't a good start, and they have gone to get a casualty. So already This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. I knew it'd be tough anyway, but there you go. And the militia get 3 dice because they've got smoothbore muskets. I was only giving them 2 dice because of where they're positioned, but because they've got the pour it on boys rule, that's for closing fire as well. So there's an extra dice. So they're also getting 3 dice, but they're going to be hitting on 3s because they're not shaken. There it is, 2 hits, but it is 4 to save. So the Union really need this. They really need this roll to work for them. The worst result. Okay, so that puts them onto. So they are shaken and 1 excess casualty. Just put that on there. So now they will be testing because if you're shaken by closing fire, or if you take artillery casualties from closing fire, you have to test. So I'm going to come back and do that test now. Okay, so we're doing the break test. So it's 2 dice, minus 1 for disorder, 1 for excess casualty, and 1 because they suffered artillery casualties. That's minus 3. When you do tests for shaken under closing fire, you have to use a hand-to-hand part of the break test chart. So they need to roll at least a 10, I think, minus 3. Yes, they're going to need at least a 10 to not fall back. So 10, and they'll be staying in combat. Let's see how we get on. That's the worst result. They're dead. They're gone. They're not dead, but they are whipped. So unfortunately, the brave Union charged in, but the defenders were stoic, shot them to pieces, and they are now whipped and will be retiring backwards. So let me just do that, and I'll come back. So as you can see, assaulting forts is not easy. So this unit's now whipped, so it's just down to 1 stand because it's only got 1 stamina. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we'll head over to the shooting phase. Right, so the Garrows are going to lob some shells in because they can now, so that's going to be 2 dice sitting on 5s. No, nothing there, so we'll come across. So again, we might as well shoot the artillery into the artillery here, so if we can get it at least to test. So again, because we're shooting overhead, it's going to be 6s. So first one, 2 dice, 6s. No, second one. Oh, I saw one. No, nothing there. So we've got the siege mortars, 2 dice, 5s for them. No, rubbish. Okay. So we've got a bit of shooting we can do now here with these guys, so we'll come back for that. So we'll start with this regiment here, can shoot in, they're at close range, so normally on 4s becomes 3s, but then it's back to 4s because they're not a clear target. And that's 1 hit. That's a save. And then we've got the unit here, we'll be doing the same. Just the 1 hit and disorder, so that has disordered that regiment, and then 1 save of 4. No, okay, so that is now 2 casualties for them. So that again, I think they're a stamina of 3, so I think they're okay at the moment. And then we've got this centre regiment here. They're going to be shooting. They'll try the artillery as well. And again, actually they're outside of close range, so they're going to be hitting on 5s. Let's work that out. So yeah, normally 4s, not a clear target, 5s, disordered 6s. Apologies. There is 1 though. There we go, and that disorders the artillery. And then just 4 up to save, which they do make. So no testing there. So yeah, so despite all the lead flying, the fort is still holding out. Okay, so some more shooting in the centre. So this unit again will shoot up at that regiment there. So 3 dice hitting on 5s because they're not a clear target. No, nothing. Okay, I think that is it because those Zouaves are out of range. All right, so that's the end of turn 7 for the Union. So they've made their attempt at Fort Wright. Didn't go well, it's fair to say. Lots of disorder all over the battlefield now. So we're over to turn 7 for the Confederates, so let's see how we get on. Okay, so obviously not much movement for the Confederates again, just really in their defensive positions. The only movement here was from Dempsey, who took this regiment here because realistically, I don't think it's going to be very difficult to get these assaulted now at this late stage. Just 1 turn to go. So he just basically moved this regiment down here just to provide a bit of flanking support for anything that might come this way from the Union. So we just did that, and nothing happened at Fort Wright. So straight over to the shooting. So might as well start down here. So these are in range of the Zouaves. They've got rifle muskets, so they're going to be in 3 shots, hitting on 4s. Just the 1 hit and save of 4 required, which they make. So we'll come across to this unit here. Is going to shoot down again at the Zouaves here. So that's going to be 2 dice hitting on 4s. That's 1 in disorder. And we'll save a 4 required. No, so they are actually shaken. So that's another shaken unit there on that 2nd Brigade. The punching bag for the Union. The artillery will shoot down here. So that's 2 dice on 4s. No, nothing. And then that unit there will shoot down 4s. 2 hits and a disorder. And 2 saves of 4 required. Just the 1. So again, they're shaken. So yeah, that brigade is broken. So hoorah for the Confederates. Okay, that's a really interesting turn now, because in 1 round of shooting, they've managed to break that 2nd Brigade. Interesting. Okay, so with that happening, we'll move across to the fort. Okay, so the way this is going to work is this regiment will shoot down here. Now, because of where they're positioned, they're only going to get really 1 shooting dice, but also they are the point on rule, so we'll get 2. They are disordered though, so they're going to be hitting on a 5, but they are at close range, so back to a 4. I think that's right, so we'll do that. 2 hits and a disorder, and then 2 saves of 4 required. No, so they're disordered and shaken. So this is proving to be a little bit of a nightmare for the Union, because that brigade is getting close to being broken as well. So we've got the artillery in the centre, is going to shoot down at this unit here. So they are shaken and disordered, but that doesn't stack. So basically you've got 2 dice, so medium range, normally hitting on 4s, because they're shaken / disordered. They're going to be hitting on 5s. They do get 1, and if these do not save on a 6, that brigade is also broken. No, so they're also shaken. So wow, this is proving to be a good round for the Confederates. These can't shoot at anything, so let me just come back and we'll see what the impact of that was. Okay, so I was just checking my facts before I continued, but basically to break an army, you need to break at least half the brigades in an army. So the Confederates had 3, they're down to 2, and the Union had 5, down to 3. So both of them have not broken yet, the armies, but obviously this whole right flank now for the Union has gone, so this will be going off the board in a minute. So Fort Wright has held out to this advance by the Union across this right flank. Very impressive. So this division is really decimated now with this brigade going in that last round. So not a great turn for the Union in that respect. And also over here, these are well out the way. These are trying to come across. So I really think it's going to be difficult for the Union to get something out of this game now. But we will go into turn 8. We'll just see what happens and see if we can get a resolution. Okay, so very much now into the last throws of the dice for the Union forces. So the 2 gunboats here have rearranged themselves so they can start firing back into Fort Wright. The corps level artillery is still here, so that's going to be firing down. Gorman, with a little help from General Cox, managed to reorganise his firing line here, so to get shots in. So the plan is now to try and break this brigade, and that would win the game for the Union, because that would be 2 brigades broken. So the two infantry regiments that you would need to break have got casualties. So it is a possibility, but it's going to take some going. But there's a lot of firepower coming in, so we'll see. Over this side, Morton just managed to reorganise his lines as well. So unlikely to do anything particularly to Dempsey's brigade here, but just trying to put some casualties on. And again, the brigade commander here managed to move forward 1 move, get his artillery unlimbered. So they'll be firing up there, but I can't see much happening with Dempsey, so it's really just going down to this, I think. So let's go over to some shooting. Okay, so we'll start with the Yardley. So it's going to be 2 shots hitting on 5s. Nothing, that's not a good start. And then for the Garrow, similar. No, so the gunboats failed to do anything on their turn. That's not great news. That's not a good start for the Union. So we'll head over to the artillery. Okay, so this time this artillery battery is going to fire down at this unit here. So again, 2 dice hitting on 5s because they're not a clear target. Oh, we do get 1 hit and a disorder. So that's a save of 4 because of the cover. But they do make the save. So they are disordered, but just need that 1 casualty. So so this artillery battery will do the same. So we're going to be 2 shots down. Yeah, we'll do that. So again, 5s. There's another one. So let's see if they can save this one. You're going to need that 4. Which they make again. So the Confederates are ducking and diving. Yep, they're keeping themselves in the game. And so, well, let's try the siege mortars and see where we are with them. Again, 5s. Nothing from the siege mortars. So that I think was the big chance. But let's see what the infantry can do. Right, so this is the last rows of dice, I think. So this regiment here is going to fire at the infantry again. So there's going to be 3 shots, but they're going to be hitting on 5s. There's 1 hit. Now this could be it though. It's a save of 2 though, because the artillery, there's a minus modifier, but it's just muskets. So if they roll a 1, then that unit is shaken. Let's see where we get on. Oh, it's a 2. Okay, so they do survive that, so that's fine. So I don't think we can do it, no. We'll just roll this off anyway. These are going to just fire at this regiment here, so we just, again, 5s. Just the 1 hit and save of 2, which they do make. Okay, so that's the end of shooting, really. I'm not going to bother with over here because I was having a look at it, and to be honest with you, even with the artillery, the most they're going to be able to do is put some casualties on there. Can't see them doing anything to Dempsey, but we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. So we'll start with this Wales regiment. They're going to fire in here, so it's going to be 3 dice hitting on 4s. 2 hits and 2 saves of 4. So there's 1 casualty on the unit here. This unit here is going to fire at this one here. So again, 3 dice hitting on 5s this time because of the cover. Just the 1 hit and a save of, it's minus, there's -1 cover here, save, a +1 for morale, sorry, so they're saving on 3s. No, they do take a casualty. And then you've got the artillery here will fire, they've only got 1 dice sitting on 5. No, that is it. So that's the end of the shooting. I think that's going to be the end of the game, guys, because I don't think the Confederates are going to be able to break this brigade. There's no way they're going to be getting 3 of these regiments broken, shaken, etc. And again here, I can't see the 4 here getting those 2 of those regiments shaken either. So I do think that's going to be the end of the game. I might just try Fort Wright just to see. We'll just check if I can do it. So I'll come back for that, and then we'll see if we'll do a game wrap up. No, guys, that is the end of the game. So basically, I just had a look here. So this artillery unit can fire in here, but it's only got 2 dice, so could potentially shake them, but these guys have only got 1 shot from where they are, and these can't. These are out of range. So yeah, they're not going to be able to shake 2 regiments basically. So yeah, that's the end of the game. Phew, right, okay, that was definitely epic. So really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did as well. So what do I think of the scenario? I mean, this is out of the book, out of the Glory Hallelujah book. So, few observations. Firstly, quite enjoyed using the gunboats. I think it did add a bit of flavour. I mean, the rules are in the book, and you can mess around with them a little bit. So, but I thought that was quite fun, adding them into the scenario. Yeah, forts are just really hard to crack, despite the low level of troops in there. I mean, I must admit, I would say that the forces that was in the book from the 1862 force selector, yeah, this 2 stamina for the Union, there is a point system, so it does kind of work out, because I think there was 19 regiments, so it kind of works out from a points perspective in terms of what you'd expect to try and attack another force. But that 2 stamina is such a weakness. This brigade here, I mean, pretty much crumbled under very light fire, really. There wasn't a lot really hitting it, and then it crumbled very quickly. And this assault, which went in from the 1st Brigade, again, it was well positioned. 4 regiments crashed into the fort. But with that 2 stamina, they just crumbled very, very quickly under closing fire. and the subsequent returning fire from the Confederates. So probably if I was going to play this scenario again, I'd probably bump them up to a stamina of 3 to try and make it a little bit more even. But I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's a really fun game to do. I really enjoyed using some of the new models. I forgot completely that I got this blooming signal tower. So, I mean, to be fair, I think that's probably going to be more useful in a game where whichever side using the signal tower is moving. Because to be honest, it was a very static force for the Confederates, so didn't really get a chance to do any re-rolls really for the general re-rolls. Didn't really come into play, but it's a nice looking model. That's fine. Really enjoyed using all the different artillery and the siege mortars. I thought those rules, I mean, I kind of made those up a little bit around the randomness, but I thought for that type of ordnance, you wouldn't really be targeting anything specifically. I think you'd be just more lobbing them generally in the direction of Fort Wright. So I thought that worked okay, as opposed to the artillery, which would probably be more focused fire. Yeah, in terms of the divisional generals, I thought that worked pretty well. This one, I mean, Morton over here, he pretty much controlled this whole brigade for a time, and that's just down to the command ratings, because the brigade commander was command rating 7. So having him there to kind of step in and help out was really good. The Dempsey, yeah, didn't do much really, I guess, just sat there hoping to fire away. I mean, this right flank of the Confederates did crumble under. It was nice to see some hand to hand, and it did show actually with the amount of forces that were here, the amount of regiments that actually you can do something and you can get in there without the protection of the fort on that exposed hill. Yeah, they were able to deal with the Confederates really. So hand to hand can work, but just trying to storm a fort or any kind of protected position is very difficult without some higher stamina, maybe some large regiments like 4. I mean, you could look at doing it with 4 large regiments with 4 stamina. I think that would help as well. But those 2 staminas just really wasn't enough, I think, for this type of game. But saying that, really enjoyed it. It was a minor victory for the Confederates because they didn't break the Union side, but they do still hold Fort Wright. So that's a minor victory for the Confederates. The sun has now set anyway, so the Union will be going back to their camp to lick their wounds. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back soon for some more American Civil War action. I've got some other battle reports lined up for the channel in the next few months. So keep yourself safe, keep yourself warm. It's quite cold here in the UK at the moment. So, and I'll catch you all very soon.